Yeah, good morning, Bang Bang Rail. I liked Paul Thorpe's video with Danny. I like Danny. I like him because he trains. I like him. He doesn't. What he says is enough. He doesn't go over the top of it. Where Paul Thorpe will keep going and going and going. Paul Thorpe and Danny do look as if they lost a lot of weight. I mean, Paul Thorpe looks as like he's lost. I don't know. He's lost a lot of weight, mate. He don't look too. He still doesn't look really that well. But when you do videos or podcasts or whatever you do, and you're talking as a group, and people are sending you money from Super Chat, they're sending you whatever they do, £10. If you got 3,000 people watching you and they're all sending even some are sending 20, 50 quid, £100, it's a lot of money. What happens to all that money? What happened to all that money for the super chats? Where did it all go to? And as far as the politics is concerned, surely Paul Thorpe, even though he's a good talker, that he must have known that you can't get involved in politics, because there's no way that people like us or could get into politics. You know what I mean? Them people, they've been through all private schools from early age. Their mums put them in schools where they don't see them. Them kids never get to be seen by their parents maybe twice a year on a holiday. That's all they get to them. Them politicians, they don't ever see their parents. They're not loved. They don't know what love is. You know what I mean? And they're different to us. And we can't never be like them, and they can't never be like us, really. You know what I mean? So when we get invited, like me, I done a little bit about Kastama, and straight away, YouTube give me a strike. Took me off air 90 days. And then they done it again. But you can't get involved with politics. It's too powerful, mate. Them people are too powerful. They're nothing. When Paul Thorpe was getting people on his channel, politics, they really was just like, yeah, what? We just listen to him and use him for our own purpose, you know what I mean? They're not really bothered about Paul Thorpe. They don't give a monkeys about Paul Thorpe, the way he's talking. But when he goes that little bit too over the top, obviously, so they're going to come down heavy. Best thing really, I feel, that anybody on these YouTube channels, you got to think to yourself, what's the point? What's the point in getting getting all this likes and this whatever you do, and to get people coming over and pulling you into a room and keeping you there for 4 or 5 hours for no reason whatsoever, and pulling you over in a car and giving you breathalyzers and taking you to police stations and all that. There's no point, then you got to go to yourself, hold up, what is going on? Do you know what's going on? So stop it, don't do it no more. Like me, I'm never going to do politics, mate, never. I don't even want to talk about the geezer. Do you know what I mean? The other fella in Woodhill, he's one of them people that is a little bit more together than others. He is. Whatever's going to happen with him is another thing. You've got to be very, very careful. He's got to be very, very careful that when he comes home, that he can't live in this country. He can't live in England, mate. YouTube would be YouTube, and people just talk about cats, dogs, and different parts of the country and these sorts of things, and murders and all that, Really, people like myself that's not too together, I know about prisons and I know about violence because it's been in my life, all my life, But politics, push it out. I don't want to get involved in that crap. It's not me. You try to get involved in it. Few of your subscribers go up in the air. You go, oh, lovely, But all of a sudden, YouTube got hold of it and you're in trouble. You're in trouble. They always strike you. You're gone. Paul Thorpe is Danny is more or less telling you that he's got his own channel. He isn't going to talk about anything about politics or anything like that. That was a bit funny. He even mentioning the guys in Woodhill. I didn't even want to mention his name. I feel Paul Thorpe when he comes back to England. I still think Paul Thorpe is going to get a little bit of aggro from them people. You've got to remember he's had some heavy people on his show, and it's like everything. If you do something, and you think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, it doesn't mean to say that's forgot about. You've done it. It's not forgot about. And so they will come on to you at any time. You can't say, no, don't do it. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's too late. You've already done it. And I feel that that's going to happen to Paul Thorpe. I feel they're going to come on his case again. You've got to remember, Paul Thorpe, makes out he's squeaky clean. And he is squeaky clean in a way, yeah. He's got a big family. There's a big thing about one of his, I'm not going to say the name, one of his sons, yeah, or two of his sons, I'm not quite sure. They got done for a big scam for Rolex watches, yeah. I think it was 600, 700 grand of Rolex watches. And Paul Thorpe had his jewellers at that time, yeah. They were selling Rolex watches, and there was and they were snide Rolex watches, but it's a big scam, and it come on top. I don't know. I don't think Paul Thorpe had anything to do with selling them. I don't know. You know what I mean? But he had a Rolex shop at that time, dealing with watches. So his son to get nicked with 600 grand well, not got nicked with, but was a big scam about it. This is only hearsay. This is only hearsay, but someone phoned me up and told me, so whether or not it's true, a mate of mine said, well, all you got to do is go on Google and Google it. I don't want to get involved in the Googling, all that crap again. But he said, you get on Google it about Paul Thorpe's son, I think his name James or Jamie or something, or Anthony or something, I'm not quite sure, got done for 600 grand of Rolex watches, and it's a big scam. And Paul Thorpe paid a big fine, one of the big fines, I think made 25 grand fine or something like that. His son got a 2-year suspended sentence. Paul Thorpe was said that he's not his son, he's member of the families, he's like cousins or something, but he didn't even tell the truth about that, because that is his son. Whether or not it's true about his son getting done for the watches, I don't know, but it's what someone's told me. There's a big thing. I don't know, check it out, check it out, Google it and find out if it's right, So you got to look at it. Paul Thorpe says, no, it's not his son, So if you can push your son aside like that, and then so you got to be careful, innit? You know what I mean? If your son gets done for a big thing like that, 600 grand of Rolex watches, a big scam, don't forget this is only hearsay, yeah? This is only hearsay, so check it out. It's definitely be Google, I suppose. The only way you can check it out. But someone phone me up and tell them about it, but don't forget, tell people that it's only hearsay, yeah? So hearsay, check it out, yeah? And bang, 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 good morning, yeah?